Aloha, friends and family, and welcome back. What Messenger Pain told me. First thing to realize is that pain is a messenger. It's not a punishment, but a messenger. And if you converse with this messenger, just like you're talking to an actual messenger that came with a message, you'll begin to get somewhere with it. Because pain is the Creator's last resort in getting our attention. But it's not being done by the Creator, it's being allowed by the Creator because we are the co creators. Fear is the denial of faith. And another word for fear is anxiety. I wonder how many people in our society are taking some kind of drugs for anxiety. So they're not trying to converse with the messenger, they're trying to silence the messenger. See, when it comes to the kingdom, we have been given the entire kingdom, but we have doubts about this. And those doubts are the very thing that prevent it from manifesting. Because it's mixed signals. Here's a hard one. God neither rewards or punishes. God neither rewards or punishes. Why? Because God is a principle, an unchanging principle. So a principle wouldn't reward you or punish you. You would allow or bring about something. Now you could say to yourself, this is God punishing me. Or you could say to yourself, this is God rewarding me. But that doesn't make it so, because a principle does not do either of those. The law is. We either align to that law or not. When we align, the manifestation of what we desire, what we want, the vision that we see is able to manifest. When we are not aligned, when we don't align, contrary things manifest. And we wonder why. Asking God or the Creator or Source for something is denial. Asking the Creator for something is denial. Why? Because everything has already been given. The kingdom in its entirety has already been given. So, what are we asking for? Why are we asking for something that has already been given? So, prayer, then, effective prayer or real prayer or actual prayer, is not asking ever for anything. It's affirming. It's affirming. So let us say you need healing for something. We don't go to God and say, God, please heal me. Please fix this. Because that is declaring something's not fixed, something's not right. Instead of, you've been given complete health at the start, at the very beginning. You were given everything. You might say, well, what about my pain? What about this pain? What about this problem? What about this issue? And see, the real question then is, why have we manifested it? Why has that manifested? And if you don't know why, you have to go into silence and you have to converse with the messenger. And the messenger will make clear to us why that has manifested. And probably one of the biggest things that keeps us from manifesting the kingdom and all of its abundance is false guilt. False guilt. Because you may say to yourself, I did this or I did that, and therefore that is why the kingdom is not manifesting. Or that is why the kingdom cannot manifest. I'm guilty of something. You may not even know what it is. Like, you may not even have a specific thing to put your finger on and say, I'm guilty of this. I'm guilty of that. Again, it was all already given at the beginning. If you are in fact guilty of something and you can put your finger on it, then there you go. You don't need the messenger, right? You don't need the messenger to come and begin showing you the things that you're unable or unwilling to see. See, with our wrong thinking when it comes to this, the kingdom could never manifest until you became perfect. Right? Because if imperfections that you have keep the kingdom from manifesting, then it'll never manifest until you become perfect. And so it's not about becoming perfect. It's about situating ourselves in the truth. Situating ourselves at the center of being, with the soul and the body integrated, and examining everything from there. And then it dawns upon us. We will never be perfect because perfect is an illusion. Perfected or perfecting, that's a thing. That's something. But perfect is not a thing. Right? Because could you, let us say you were tasked with finding the perfect rose. And so you would go out and you would look at hundreds, maybe thousands of roses, trying to find the perfect one. And you might find a really nice one. You might find a flawless one. You might find one that seems perfect, right? But that's your assessment. Someone else may find a different one and be like, I don't even like the color of red roses. I found a bicolored rose over here, and this one's perfect. Right? So perfect is not real. It doesn't exist. But we can be perfected. We can be in the process of perfecting. And what are we perfecting? Not so much our outward actions, because those are only going to be after the thoughts, right? The action always follows the thought. So the thoughts, the thinking, is the thing that needs to be perfected. And if we're thinking from the center of being in the kingdom, that's as close to perfect as we could ask for or expect or desire. God neither rewards or punishes, because God is principle and principle is unchanging. When something good manifests, sure, we can be thankful to God. We can be thankful towards the creation and the creator. But a deity off someplace did not reach across down into your mix and do some specific thing, because again, it's all already been done. There is no action for God to take, because it has all already been done. The only action to be taken, again, is within us, is within our thinking, and breaking the illusions of which we are under many illusions and delusions. Of how this place truly operates, how things really work. The biggest probably being evil, being a thing. evil being something. Evil is not a thing. Evil would have to exist outside of God, outside creation, outside the Creator. Nothing exists outside of God. Nothing exists outside of creation in reality. Now, again, if you get into human psychosis and delusions, that changes, but it only changes mentally. It only changes delusionally, not in reality. There is no evil one other than when we accept that mentally and then we begin to manifest it based on our faith. You can create what appears to be evil. You can create what appears to be bad, what appears to be wrong with your faith. But it's not your faith in the Creator, it's your faith in some kind of opposition to the Creator, as though something exists outside of God that's able to then launch an attack against you or God or someone else. It's delusion. It's not real. It never has been real. It never will be real. But what about, and but what about? Again, the mind's attempts to justify its delusion or its illusion of evil or an evil one, some evil entity. It doesn't exist. But if this thought gets in your mind, it will seem real to you, right? If this contrary thought is able to permeate your mind and get into your subconscious mind, you might very well be manifesting all kinds of things that you can attribute to this illusion that you have of this entity that's contrary to God. That's not real. But the more we do that, the more we give credence to it, the further we are from the truth, the further we are from the center, and the more difficult it may be to get back to the center, because now you have to undo all of this confusion. Now you have to undo all of this fear. Now you have to undo all of this doubt. And this fear, this doubt, this delusion, quite possibly will manifest pain in your reality. And then we perhaps will act dumbfounded and act like, where did this come from? I don't understand this. Why is this happening to me? Nothing is happening to us. Everything is happening through us. And it's a direct reflection of what's going through our mind, what's going through our heart, and are we aligned with the kingdom? Are we aligned with the principle of oneness? That's truly what the oneness is. We say it a lot, we hear it a lot, and I don't know if we have fully understood it. Oneness means you and God are one, regardless of what kind of delusions your mind might take on. regardless of what kind of false teaching you might have gotten taught, regardless of your doubts and your fears. There is no separation between you and God, and your reality and your experience are an aspect or a thought of God happening in real time. According to your faith, be it unto you, said the great master. All right, so our faith in this oneness, our faith in this being the principle, the unmoving, unchanging principle. I and the Father are one. So any thought that I have that doubts that or contradicts that's got to go. Any fear that I have that contradicts that's got to go. Any false guilt that I may have got to go. Because again, God already gave everything. God already gave the fullness of the kingdom. Now it's our quest, if you will, to manifest it or to allow it to manifest. And the only reason it's not manifesting is because we have put up blockades unknowingly. Wrong thoughts, wrong beliefs, contrary opinions to that simple principle. And if and when we get to the silence, the real silence, the true silence, the silence where the mind stops interjecting with its evaluations, with its comparisons, with its, well, I like that, but I don't like that. And again, the messenger pain can take you to that silence, to where you don't even care anymore about what the flippy floppity mind is thinking and saying to self. It's always got something to say. It's always got its mind on something. It's almost always distracted away from this silence where clarity will come because you can finally hear the Creator. The still small voice. And when you hear that voice and you get that clarity, then you can begin observing your mind from that place. And you'll quickly see and hear and understand all the ways that your own mind is yanking you around. It wants to stay rooted in its wrong beliefs. But your soul doesn't. The mind wants it to be easy. I ask God for something, and then I hope that it comes. That's the mind trying to be easy. God neither rewards nor punishes. And the mind wants to argue with that right quick. Wait a second. Let me tell you my opinion. Let me tell you what I think about that. But you get to the secret place of the still small voice. And you can quickly understand that that is the truth, because the Creator is a principle, and a principle is unchanging. And of course, a principle is not going to reward or punish like some external entity with its own opinion and its own thoughts and its own judgments. And they're coming to evaluate you. They're coming to really put you under the microscope. And if you don't measure up, you got problems. That's all delusion. It does not work like that. The Creator is an unchanging principle. We have been given everything. And we may not, again, these words, these human words and these concept ideas, we've been given everything. What does that mean? What does that mean? We've given everything? As though this whole thing is about getting something. And it is about getting, but perhaps not getting something, right? We need to get it. We need to get it. And then the some things automatically manifest. But if we don't get it, then the some things never matter, or it doesn't matter. So when we say we have been given the kingdom, we have been given access to all things, or the doorway, the door. If you will go through this door, everything that is in the kingdom, which is everything, is there for you, right? For us. If we will go through this door, though, and the door is the mind and the soul and this dense body and this brain, all unified in the same place, with the same thought, the same feeling, the same knowing, and the same faith. See, if the mind is saying one thing and the emotions are feeling some other way, and in the back of our head we got some guilt because we think this is all based on deserving, like I can only get the amount of the kingdom that I deserve, and so you're very limited then. Well, you won't even get anywhere, because all this confusion does not equate to anything. Clarity has to be from the center. We have to be sustaining the frequency. And let us say, what is the difference between sustaining this frequency and desiring this frequency? See, I think everybody probably desires the frequency or desires the kingdom. But desiring something is basically saying you don't have it. Because if you had it, you would not desire it. Right? So we switch over then. Come on deeper within to the place where now you're radiating the kingdom. You're radiating the faith. You're radiating the love. You're radiating the fullness. You're no longer desiring it. You're no longer looking for it. You're no longer believing for it. Why? Because you understand now that it has all been given at the very beginning. And it's simply a matter of coming into alignment with this principle, with this fact. And then proclaiming, declaring, confessing, if you will. And that's when manifestation truly starts to become possible. Let us say maybe accelerated manifestation becomes possible, right? I'm not asking God to heal me and take away this pain. I'm confessing that I am the perfect image that God has and had of me, of you, of us, from the beginning. Now, if some distortion came along, that's on us. If some wrong beliefs got installed, that's on us. If some hindrances to this kingdom are at work, that's on us. Jesus said, call those things that are not as though they were. All right, so in order to do this, you have to get to this center place. You have to get to this place where you can now radiate the truth. I am healed. I am abundant. I can be thankful ahead of time, meaning before it has manifested in fullness. So check it. Check yourself. This is what the messenger told me. This is what I've learned from this. Check the inner space, your inner state. Scan it. Is there doubt of any kind? Is there fear of any kind? Is there anxiety of any kind? All these things are contrary to radiating the truth, the light, the way, the life. In other words, clean up the temple. And maybe your temple's fairly clean. My temple felt quite clean, right? But you got closets and corners and perhaps dark spots that are not illuminated. And if they were to be illuminated, you would then see stuff that you didn't see. And this, again, is not a punishment. This is not you're in trouble. This is not bad. This is great. This is great. Because if we want to manifest the kingdom, walk in the kingdom, and live in all of its fullness, anything that's contrary to that, anything that's slowing that, anything that's preventing that, surely we want to deal with it, right? Surely we want to clean any filthy places that we find in the kingdom. Maybe a rat died behind a piece of furniture in the kingdom, and it's giving off some kind of smell, and every now and then you catch it, you're like, what in the heck is that? It smells like something's dead. I'm in the kingdom. I'm in the temple. Like, nothing's dead in my temple. What is going on here? And then you discover, oh, it's a dead rat. And so you simply clean it up, and now that's done. Now you can move forward. These are some of the things that the messenger told me. And he told me to share it out there in Cyberland, because there's bound to be a person or two that wants to know this, that wants to, again, stop all hindrances from our progress, from our growth, from our manifestation. We leave you in the love, unity, and light of the infinite Creator until we meet again.